So I'm going to be showing you about 90% of my carded collection. Most of my carded collection is Hot Wheels and Matchbox, as those are the two brands I collect the most. Now, I do collect other various diecast brands. However, most of the time I go ahead and open those up. Therefore, they are in my loose collection. I do have everything organized by decades. We're going to be starting in the 2020s. Very important decade for me personally, as I started my adult collection back in 2019. We'll then move on to the 2010s. Great card art during that time. I'm excited to show you those. Just a very distinct graphic style that they were doing for the art on the packaging. And then we're going to finish off in the 2000s, where some of my all-time favorite Hot Wheels castings live. So now keep in mind, I don't really have anything carded pre-2000. At the time of this recording, I haven't totally gotten hooked on series before 2000, such as the Collector Number series in the early 90s, the Black Wall era from the late 70s to late 80s. Maybe in the future I do start to get really hooked on those, and you'll see a year from now a collection update with those series. But at the time of this recording, I pretty much have everything carded from 2000 to the present day. I wanted to go ahead and start with some superlatives because just a couple days ago, I actually found the 2024 N-Case Super Treasure Hunt. This is the Solero GT. Now, I know this wasn't really a popular one. In fact, it may be the least favorite amongst collectors from the 2024 Super Treasure Hunt lineup. However, I do collect fantasy castings, so I think this is a really neat piece in my collection. Kind of screams like that 2020s era of supercar. Sort of mimics something like an Aston Martin Valkyrie or a Mercedes AMG 1. So for that reason, I think it's a beautiful execution. Great to have in the collection. And while we're on the topic of super treasure hunts, I wanted to show you my very first one that I ever found in the wild. This is the Porsche 918 Spyder. I found this in January of 2020 in a very large dump bin in Jewel Osco, which is a grocery store. And I do have a couple other supers I want to show you. We'll show you this Audi 90 Quattro, another 2024 super treasure hunt. And we also have this Mazda 787B, very, very historic and iconic car in motorsport. I think it's really cool that Hot Wheels gave it the Super Treasure Hunt treatment with that beautiful sort of orange copper Spectraflame paint. And then I'll also show you this Volvo P1800 Gasser. Love the colorway on this one, that beautiful bright aqua with that pink. Let me tell you, it looks amazing in person. And then I also wanted to show you my first ever regular treasure hunt. I found this in 2019 November. This is the Cyber Speeder designed by Ryu Asada. And I don't really collect regular treasure hunts anymore, but I highly recommend, especially if you're just getting into collecting, or maybe if you're getting into collecting a brand new series that's just rolling out, I definitely recommend saving the very first one you get. You know, as we get further and further into our collecting journey, I think as time goes on, we really appreciate our first of anything, as time goes. So I try to keep all of my firsts, from regular treasure hunt to super treasure hunt to even just my first of a specific diecast brand, my first Tarmac Works, my first Mini GT, what have you. So let's move into a couple of my NFTs. I don't have all of my NFTs out here, but I do have a couple I wanted to show you. We'll start with this one here. This is the McLaren F1 from Series 5. This is the first NFT I scored on Mattel Creations. And a really nice tan interior in there as well. A little bit hard to see, but hopefully you can see that. And then we also have this Plymouth Cuda from the Series 8 drop. And that Spectraflame paint is just gorgeous. It glows at you. It's so, so pretty. But without further ado, let's get into the main event, which is my, not entire collection, but like 90% of my carded collection here. My name is Contour Toy Cars. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Sit back, relax, grab a beverage, and let's get settled in and look at some beautiful die-cast cars. So again, we are starting in the 2020s. We have this Nissan Z Proto. This was the debut color back in 2022. Next up is this Lotus Emira. Rocking those Trap 5 wheels with the chrome. We then have this gorgeous Pagani Huayra Roadster. I never found the super treasure hunt of this, but honestly, the beautiful pearlescent paint on this is so impressive. I mean, this is one of those models where I say, I can't believe I only got this for $1. I would pay $10 for a model like this, just on the paint alone, not to mention just how perfect the execution is of this vehicle. And then we have another mainline to a Super. This is the Mazda 787B that I showed you a few moments ago. And now we'll get into some Matchbox. Here we have the McLaren 720S Spider. Another casting with just beautiful paint. You have that shimmer, you have kind of a little bit of like a pearlescent effect. Matchbox is always just doing a 10 out of 10 execution with a lot of their castings as well. Here we have the Ford F-150 Lightning. And I mean, this really just gets into what Matchbox is the best at, which is real vehicles that you see out on the road. Take, for example, this Cadillac Escalade, gorgeous card art. Look at that. This was a Walmart exclusive series. I never found these in the wild. I actually traded for this piece here. But another great execution by Matchbox, and another great example of that gorgeous paint. And like I said at the start of the video, oops, as that falls down, it might be not the last time that happens. But like I mentioned in the start of the video, I do collect fantasy castings. So here we have one of my top 5 favorite Matchbox castings of all time. This is the self-driving bus. A very nice orange colorway. And then we have, again, speaking of firsts, this is my first ever Matchbox Target Red find. This is the Holden Ute SSV. Got that chrome lip on the wheels too. Really pulls it all together. Okay, we're gonna switch back over to Hot Wheels. This is the Acura NSX. Next up is this Land Rover Defender 90, new for 2020 casting. And I've always said this one is really photogenic. Just really shows up nicely whenever you take a photo, either in loose or carded condition. Any angle in which you're taking the photo, I just think it's really photogenic. Okay, then we have this Formula E Gen 2 car. And this one's a pretty hard one to acquire nowadays, the Tesla Model 3 in white. Front and rear tampo treatment as well. There's the front and here's the rear. Yeah, gorgeous piece. And we have a more recent one. This is the Porsche keychain from last year in 2024. There are some new color variants that have come out. I have to say I do have a little bit of a bias towards this plain Zamac version. Just looks very contemporary, almost like a sculpture. Okay, then we have the Manga Tuner from 2020. And Ryu Asada really started this kind of tuned JDM vibe that we're seeing with some other more current releases by Hot Wheels. So that's a really fun one. Okay, we'll switch back over to Matchbox briefly with this Citroën Ami. And I always say this one's kind of like a little nugget. Just looks like the shape of a chicken nugget or something, and very plump. That is kind of a typical style I do like within my collection. Sort of these more cutesy, sort of short wheelbase vehicles. Sort of bulbous as well. Just something about it that I gravitate towards. Okay, then we have the Flippin' Fast. This is a fidget spinner from 2024. 2 of those. Let me make sure I'm staying organized over here off screen. Next up is the 2018 Honda Civic Type R. This is my favorite livery that they've done so far with this casting. I mean, the casting itself is absolutely gorgeous. I did have a few other variants of this one, but as I'm always trying to be super specific with my collection and trying to let go of castings that I'm not absolutely obsessed with, I did take a look at all the different variants and decided this one was my favorite. So this is the one I've kept both carded, and I have a loose one as well in the collection. Okay, then we have two more of the Porsche keychains. Got some Matchbox here. So first up is this Audi TT RS. Audi TT is my favorite car in real life. So I was very excited when Matchbox announced this one back in early 2021. We have that turbo blue color, and then we also have that gorgeous red, and as it is my favorite car, three more. All personal finds in the wild as well. So great to have all those carded in essentially perfect condition. Nothing's ever true mint condition, or nothing is going to have, you know, zero flaws, but you can tell when a card is really crisp, you know, no soft corners, nothing is bent over, no kind of creases or scratches. So try to keep them as in good condition as I can. Here we have the Nissan 350Z. This was essentially, there were two cars growing up that were my all-time favorites. It was Nissan 350Z and the Audi TT. So this one holds a special place in my heart as well. Okay, let me reset here. We have a couple other small piles of 2020s, and then we're going to be getting into the 2010s. So let me reset here and fill in our little set we have here. Okay, another fantasy casting. We have the Robo Race Robocar. It is from the factory sealed 2020 set. Really unique autonomous vehicle. This is a real life car as well. And we got two of those. One more fidget spinner from the Flippin' Fast 2024. We then have this Renault Megane EV. Best part about this casting is hands down the front fascia. You have that sort of gold section, and then just the headlight design too is really unique. Okay, then we have two more Robo Race Robo cars, this time in a white and red color variant. Next up is this Morris Mini. And that Hot Wheels race team livery is so timeless. I mean, it makes any casting look good for sure. Okay, then we have Lucid Air from 2023. And my brother-in-law used to work for Lucid. I did have the amazing opportunity to actually test drive one of these in real life. It was a really cool experience. Okay, we have two Volvo P1800 gassers. These are the mainline to the Super. So you have that blue and orange colorway, and then it really changes when you upgrade to the Super with that bright aqua and pink colorway. So really cool to see the differences between the mainline and the Super. And honestly, the mainline looks great too. I mean, I really like just that clean enamel paint. And the orange just makes it pop as well. So that's a really cool one. Okay. And we have a couple donut drifters, a couple different colorways. This one was the very first debut color. And then this one was the, I want to say, second or third release of this casting. Then we have the Aston Martin DB4 GT High Speed Edition. Awesome collaboration between Hot Wheels and Aston Martin. I think that really came together nicely. And then we will show the last of the 2020s. First up is the Mazda Cosmo Sport. I do have this in Super Treasure Hunt form. It is one of the ones I did not pull out for this video, but I think it looks great in the mainline version as well. We have my only flying customs. This is the Mini Cooper S Challenge. And I believe this is a Target exclusive series, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll wrap things up in the 2020s with this McLaren P1, my first ever Hot Wheels Red Edition. And nowadays they do go ahead and put the word red somewhere on the deco. This was back in 2020 when they weren't doing that. So just a clean deco, nothing really too fancy. I do really like that white and red though. All right, so let me reset again because we are going to move into the 2010s. And like I said at the start of the video, I absolutely love the 2010s. I think it was just a really distinct graphic style that the designers on both brands from Hot Wheels and Matchbox, just a really unique style for the actual art on the packaging. So again, just bear with me for a few moments as I reset here. And if you have made it this far into the video, I do appreciate it. Again, my name is Contour Toy Cars. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And let me know in the comments if you have a specific era of Hot Wheels or Matchbox that's your favorite. Whether that's the 2020s that we just wrapped up here in my personal carded collection, whether that's the 2010s that we're going to get into right now, or if there's a pre-2000 era that you really like. The 1990s with the collector number series, the 1980s with the Black Wall era, or even the 1970s with the likes of Flying Colors, Super Chromes. Maybe you absolutely love those red lines back from 1968 to 72 where they had the Spectraflame paint. I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comments. So first up from the 2010s, we have this Malibu Marauder, and I really like this metal look that they did on the side of the packaging. Gives off that sort of die-cast type of energy, as these are metal cars. And this is a short card as well. So international, essentially US cards are going to be longer cards and international cards are going to be shorter cards. Then we have this BMW i3. And another Malibu Marauder, this one in the US card version. And two of the BMW i3s as well. So let's move those off to the side here. Next up is this 4X Force. Nice little utility off-roader. Picture something like this on like a, within a neighborhood, maybe driving around a community where they gotta do various tasks, right? Deliver something to another residence or repair something, throw your tools in the back. So I have two of those. And then we'll get into these Hot Wheels here. So, and here's what I mean by just that very, distinct graphic styling, just beautiful logo up here at the top. We have some of these other more subtle, abstract pieces of graphic design as well. And just, all of this too, the sort of the road that it's driving on, just very vibrant, which I think looks great. This is the Motoblade, one of my top 5 favorite Hot Wheels castings. And then we have this 12 Ford Fiesta. This was actually Michael Giralda's last Hot Wheels deco that he ever did for Hot Wheels. And it marked the 5,000th deco. And what he actually did was he made things very cyclical, kind of like bookends. This deco, his last for Hot Wheels, sort of mimics the very first one he did, which was on a Ford, I think a Ford Escort. And it was a very similar deco. However, on this one, you can see that 5,000. He put 5,000 Club to symbolize the 5,000 decos that he created. Such a prolific designer. I mean, he's still working now. He is retired, so he's no longer an internal worker for Mattel, but he does still do quite a bit of work for the different brands, which is just so cool to see. So many designs that this one individual created for these beloved toy cars. You know what? I think a diecast package just arrived. I heard the doorbell ring. Give me a moment. Okay, I am back. So let's keep moving on here. Next up is this 19 Ford Ranger Raptor. And so yeah, that was actually a diecast package all the way from Italy that just arrived. They needed my signature and everything. So I'm excited to open that one up. Next up, we have this Twin Mill Gen E. I do have two of those. This is a design by Dima. Here we have it in a burgundy and orange colorway. And then we have Stock R, another one with just really vibrant, distinct styling for this art. Love the 4 racers up at the top, and just everything really comes together nicely. And I got this one as a gift from my wife, so that is a very special piece for me. And then we have 2 Formula Streets. So Formula Street is one of my top 5 favorite Hot Wheels castings of all time. First up, we have this blue and orange colorway. And we have this yellow and red colorway. So with that, we are actually done with the 2010s. Bear with me again to reset here, and we will wrap things up with the 2000s, where some of my all-time favorite Hot Wheels castings live. And you will see as I have many of these same castings in carded form, just because I love them so much. So again, just bear with me for just a couple more seconds and we will continue on. Again, I hope you are enjoying so far. And you will see what I mean here. So we will start with the Matchbox. We have the Audi TT Mark 1, great colorway with that dark gray and the tan interior. Check out that rear end, just awesome. Again, this is my all-time favorite car, both in real life and in 1/64 scale. I do have 2 of those. So then we're gonna get to my all-time favorite Hot Wheels casting ever, and that is the Sup Dog. I have 3 of them here, as well as multiple in loose form. This is a 2007 release. And we have my second all-time favorite Hot Wheels casting, which is Trim Truck, rocking the Faster Than Ever wheels. I have 4 of them. Look, they don't even fit in the frame. So the one with FTE wheels or Faster Than Ever wheels is a little bit more rare than the PR5 variant. So some of these came out with PR5, which means Phil Reelman 5, and some of these came out with FTE wheels or Faster Than Ever wheels. The Faster Than Ever wheels have a nickel-plated axle, which allows them to go a little bit faster, than the PR5s or any other mainline wheel type. So again, I have 4 of those. And then I also have this Slingshot from a factory sealed 2006 set. And then we will finish off with quite a rare piece, which is this Sup Dog hauler. And this is actually what's in that package that I had to pause the video for. I got a second one of these just because they're so rare, yet I found 2 within the same day. I ended up scooping up both of them. This is my all-time favorite casting. Collect what you love. If you want to preserve, I recommend getting multiples just so you can have one loose to enjoy and then multiples carded so you have some in backup, as well as it's always great to appreciate the card art that corresponds to your personal favorites. So with that, I will bring some of these supers back in frame, but we are going to call it there. That is essentially my entire carded collection. Again, about 90% or so. And most of them, as you kind of saw, are essentially just duplicates of my favorites. There's not really a whole lot of carded castings that don't have a loose counterpart. You know, I like what I like. I am particular about what I collect. So when there's a casting I really love, generally speaking, I'm going to have both a loose one and then a carded version as well. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned some things as well. We got to look at the different styles of card art. We looked at the last 3 decades. Granted, 2020 is only halfway done, so I'm excited to see what these next 5 years have in store regarding Hot Wheels and Matchbox. And again, I'm Contour Toy Cars. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Signing off for now. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.